thank you very much for the invitation today and for giving me the opportunity to share insights into open infrastructures and open access books with the Portuguese community. Very delighted for the invitation, and sorry that I can't speak in Portuguese. I would love to, but maybe some other day. But yeah, my name is Niels Stern. I'm managing director of OAPEN, which I'm going to talk to you about today, and also co-director of the Directory of Open Access Books. My background is scholarly book publishing. I began in scholarly book publishing over 20 years ago. Then I moved into policy making for a while. I've also been in the library world, overseeing license portfolios and negotiating on behalf of the Danish National Library Consortium. And then I sort of came back to OAPEN and DOAB as infrastructures for scholarly books. So yeah, so I've that's in a very brief my background. And today I'm going to talk about. I thought I would try to do it to give an overview by being as concrete as possible. So I will introduce to you OAPEN and DOAB, and then show you what we do for the different stakeholder groups, because this is applicable not only in Europe but globally. But it's a way to give you an idea about what we think we can do to serve the publishers, the libraries, the funders, the researchers, and more widely the community. And so I'll give you insights and share just some ideas about the things we can do and how we can add value to these different stakeholders when it comes to open access books. And then if you hang on to the end of the presentation, I will share with you what the standard question is these days. But so we'll get back to that, but at the end. Right. Okay, so first, an introduction to OAPEN. OAPEN is hosting full text titles, so hosting books. It's distributing the books and it's preserving the books. So open access books that are scholarly, peer-reviewed books. That's what the platform, the OAPEN library, is doing. So there are two important, you could say, value propositions, which is that the collection is curated. So we curate by evaluating each publisher before we work with them. The way we evaluate the publisher is by looking at their peer review policies, their licensing policies, their catalog of books, and other things. So we have a thorough evaluation process, both for OAPEN and for DOAB. And if a publisher complies with this, then we sign up an agreement and we can have their books on the OAPEN platform or with DOAB. So we are, in that sense, agnostic to business models. So we work with institutional publishers, we work with very small scholarly publishers, with university presses, with medium-sized for-profits, and with big commercial publishers like Taylor and Francis. So we work with the whole range of publishers. And then the second very important value proposition is that everything we do is fully open. So the infrastructure is completely open. All the metadata is fully available openly, and you can query the API. You can get all the metadata and so on, and it's for free, and we don't require you to register, etc. So curation and openness are core value propositions. And OAPEN was set up by 6 European university presses in 2010, and I was actually one of the 6 university presses. So I was part of that, building that project, which was really to help us better disseminate our books. So we were publishing 50, 60 books at our press, and the other presses in Amsterdam, Manchester, Göttingen, Firenze, and Lyon, they were, also small, medium-sized university presses. And we all had the same challenge, that it was difficult to sell books to libraries, and also it was difficult to disseminate ebooks and sell ebooks. And so we were inspired by the open access discussions for journals, and then with some EU funding, we set up the Open Library in 2010. And in fact, just last week, we presented, we had a panel session at the Frankfurt Book Fair, where we the Open Library, and as you can see, some things have changed, but not so. On the screen, you can see the first director, Elko Ferreira, and then I'm presenting. I think I'm also holding the mic in the left hand. It looks very similar. I don't know, but at least you can see from the panel that diversity has increased over the years. But many other things have also changed. So, for example, today we have over 40,000 books, and we have these books from over 450 publishers. So we came from 6 presses, and now we have grown quite a lot. We also have books today in around 70 languages, and this is a very important point because I mean, Danish is a small language. Portuguese, okay, it's a bigger language, but there's that multilingualism aspect, which is really important to support what we call bibliodiversity. So understanding and supporting different cultures, also different practices in publishing scholarly books, as you know, monographs, edited collections, critical editions, and so on. And the usage of the library has also grown over time, of course, as we have more books, but we also saw an increase during COVID, where libraries shut down, and the need for online material was growing. So this number is what we saw in 2024, on average 1.5 million counter-conformant downloads every month, and this is filtering the bots away as best as we can. Right, so moving on to the directory of open access books. This was set up also by as an outcome of the Open project. So it was inspired by DOAJ for journals. We thought we would make an index, like a directory, to increase discoverability for those publishers who would not use OAPEN as their hosting platform, but would have another hosting solution. So in 2013, it was launched, and it has been quite successful to scale also more globally. DOAB is a free service for publishers. So once they have been evaluated and accepted for inclusion, they can upload their books themselves for free. And of course, it's also free for libraries to use it. So we're just around 100,000 titles today. And one of the important things also for DOAB is that it's kind of a neutral space for platforms. So we work with a concept called trusted platforms. So we have a network of trusted platforms, like the Open Library is a trusted platform. Open Edition, which is co-managing DOAB with us in France, is also a trusted platform. JSTOR, Project Muse, Cielo Books in Brazil, the African Open Scholarship platform, and a few others. So it's a way for us to delegate the trust of evaluating publishers, and then increase efficiency by having these platforms ingesting the books of multiple publishers into DOAB based on certain rules, of course. So in that sense, DOAB is bringing open access books even further into the global arena, and that's something where we could, also discuss in the Portuguese community if there are initiatives, for example, in library publishing or elsewhere, where we could see some kind of collaboration to make DOAB more accessible to more publishers via a trusted platform in Portugal. Currently, for example, we are discussing the same thing in Spain with the UNE, the Association of University Presses in Spain, and we are having the same conversations with other platforms in Latin America currently as well. Yeah, so just to emphasize, we see more publishers using DOAB, and so in a nutshell, this is what we do in a very simplified schematic way. So you see, of course, we work with the publishers because without the books, there's no service. So on the left side at the top, we get books and metadata into OAPEN. So we can get the PDFs or the EPUBs or the output format that the publisher chooses, and then the metadata. And for DOAB, we only get the metadata. So we normally get metadata in Onyx format, different versions. In OAPEN, we have a mechanism to transform that metadata into different output formats like Mark XML, like KBART, Onyx, latest versions, and JSON, CSV files, and others. And that's that's the metadata we make available for downstream usage. So Google Scholar, but also very many open source data services, OpenAir, on paywall, core, base, and so on, use the metadata. But also library intermediaries, so big companies like Clarivate with the Alma Primo instance for libraries, they include DOAB and OAPEN as in their knowledge base, so they can be activated as collections for libraries. The same for EBSCO and OCLC. So so you can access the books via third party or at any time as a library or as a researcher, you can go directly to the OAPEN library and get the books. We run on DSpace, open source software, and we have our servers hosted at CERN, the CERN data center you see here. This is a partnership that we began with CERN last year, and we are very fortunate, we think, to have such a great partnership with them, providing reliability and of course capacity in the back end. So we work, as I said, with these main stakeholder groups, libraries, publishers, researchers, and funders, and as an infrastructure, we connect these. And I'm now going to show you a few ideas about how, or a few examples on how we do this. So for publishers, this is our value proposition basically for publishers. So we offer any publisher that fulfill our admission criteria, so that's the evaluation. We offer them a trusted, reliable, and efficient hosting, distribution, and preservation environment of their peer-reviewed open access books, connecting them with libraries and readers across the world. As I showed you, the global usage is, I think, all countries more or less in the world. We have download statistics. So that's the original idea, increasing discoverability and impact. As I said, when we, as small presses, set up the program back in 2010, it was about increasing discoverability and making the scholarly work that we did more visible to the world. Last 12 months, we got 119 applications, and for a small team, we are 12 people in the OAPEN team also taking care of DOAB, and within the team, there is a small group looking at applications, and it takes quite a lot of time to evaluate each publisher application. We have to do often a lot of forth and back, and it's really nice to see these days that we get a lot of applications from Latin America, and we onboard quite a few publishers from that region. We also have Portuguese publishers in DOAB, and you can see the numbers here. I think we could maybe have more, but that's something we can discuss, and how to do it. For example, as I mentioned, the trusted platform opportunity. In OAPEN, we have, I checked yesterday, I think it was 84 books only, so less than in DOAB, and that's also why for downloads we've seen around 75,000 downloads from Portugal. So I think we could do more. And one way to increase the number would be to also have more books from Portuguese publishers, and of course more books in Portuguese in general into the Open Library. Right. So for libraries, what we offer is a seamless access to a curated and fast-growing collection, as you saw, of thousands of peer-reviewed books, easy to integrate, as I showed in the template or the schema. There are different ways to integrate the collections into the library catalog and ensure that once for example, using a knowledge base, these knowledge bases are updated on a regularly basis, and we constantly feed our data into Exlibris so they get the most recent data, and they also report back to us if there are errors that they discover. We have around 300 libraries supporting us from around the world, and this is really essential to us because we are a small, not-for-profit, independent organization. We don't get funding from anywhere else than from those libraries who believe in us and invest in us, because the supporting OAPEN and DOAB is fully optional. Anything is available anyway. But without this support, we couldn't really survive. So also, this is an invitation to any libraries on the call that actually, I don't think we have any Portuguese library supporters, so you could be the first, and we will mention this. So there's a supporting scheme which you can find on the website. We also actually propose some benefits for supporting libraries, and just to mention one, which is that if a library is supporting OAPEN and DOAB, then we waive the hosting fee on the OAPEN library for a publisher that is affiliated with that institution. So, for example, if it's a university press and the university is supporting us, then the university press can have as many books as they want in the OAPEN library for free. There are other benefits. I won't go into them, but yeah, you can check out on the OAPEN website some of the benefits, or reach out to me afterwards. So we also work and have worked with research funders for quite some years. What we do for them is to manage their OA book collections. So we basically build collections within the OAPEN library for the funders, and those collections consist of the books that they have funded, basically. So that's how we work, and we then provide certain services. For example, we give usage statistics to the funders about their collection, just as we give usage statistics to supporting libraries and also to the publishers we work with. And as an example, most recently we made an agreement with UKRI to support their still fairly new open access book policy. We also work with the European Union and have done so for quite some years. So all the books that are funded through the Horizon Europe or previous framework programs, we collect as best as we can and make available within the OAPEN library. We also have partnerships with the Austrian, the Swiss, the Dutch national and the German research funders, and also welcome. Yeah. So we in 23 and 24 we were co-coordinating a project called Palomera, which is short for Policy Alignment on Open Monographs in the European Research Area. This project was looking across 39 countries, investigating the policies, open access policies, and whether they are including books or not, and in what way they are, if they do include books. And this gave us a quite good impression that there is a lack of alignment across Europe, and so we came up with a number of recommendations for all the stakeholder groups. So we put a lot of investment into engaging all stakeholders in validation events, consolidating our recommendations and also our findings. And we published 42 recommendations, which we are currently looking at together with this new established policy forum on OA books. This is an outcome from the project that we established together with Science Europe and Coalition S. So we meet with policymakers 3 times a year now to discuss open access books and to discuss how we can implement the recommendations that we came up with in the Panorama project. Also, of course, Diamond OA for books is something rising very quickly. We've seen for journals over the past 3, 4, 5 years a rise in Diamond for journals. You probably know about the European Diamond Capacity Hub and the DIAMAS projects. We hope we are very ready also to support Diamond for books as we support any other model. And there has been a call out from the European Commission to look specifically at institutional publishing and Diamond, which and this call should also include books. So we have been invited to consider this, and hopefully we will be able to share more on how we can support Diamond for books. Together with colleagues, we published an article in the Katina magazine in July, where we were reflecting on some of the issues that relate to books, which are different to those we see for journals. So there are quite a few differences, and those are differences that we should take into consideration. But we are firm believers that there are good ways forward to explore new models for Diamond for books. So the last stakeholder, or the second to last here, stakeholder group, but really a stakeholder group, researchers, and more widely the public. So I've put in the 3 SDGs that we have in our strategic plan for the next 3-4 years, and so we support these 3 goals: quality education, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and reducing inequalities. And especially 4 and 10, I think, are important also from a researcher's point of view. We really use our books our platform to help also researchers in teaching and setting up syllabi, reading lists, and so on, so that it's easy to integrate open access books into the curriculum at universities. And of course, also really focusing on how to reduce inequalities globally. So we've been very engaged in projects in Africa and try to engage more in different parts of Africa with the local communities. As I mentioned, we've been very much supporting developments in Latin America, and hopefully we also have opportunities elsewhere in the world, for example in Asia. And I mean, again, of course, the public in general, many people are really, happy about finding books that are, quality books on topics that they may have an interest in, like history or psychology or philosophy. And, there is a full library fully available. So I think it's really important also to keep in mind that what we do, we also do for the wider public across countries. And so these are the important SDGs. Of course, we also support SDG 17, which is about collaborating for the SDGs, but these are the sort of the 3 topical ones. We also have developed a community in a community-led sense, and we're driving this community-led toolkit, which really offers, I think today, over 50 short articles about anything relating to audiobook publishing, really. So if you want to know more about it, have a look. The URL is here, and also let us know if you miss something, because that's how we want to develop it. We have a large editorial advisory committee helping to write articles and to monitor updates and so on. And this was really intended for researchers, but we see that libraries really like to use it because they often are the first line of contact for researchers as authors. More broadly in the community, we are a founding member actually of OPERAS, the open research infrastructure for scholarly communication in the humanities and social sciences. So we represent OPERAS in its executive assembly. I'm the member of the executive assembly representing the Netherlands, because OAPEN and DOAB are rooted legally in the Netherlands as not-for-profit foundations, and this is also why we are the national node in the Netherlands. And actually today there is the launch of the national node, which is OAPEN together with the Royal Academy of Arts and Sciences in the Netherlands, presenting OPERAS NL at the Open Science Festival in the Netherlands. So it's festive Friday for us. And then also within OPERAS, there are a number of special interest groups, and we have recently established an open access books special interest group, which we coordinate. And on the call today, I suppose also Sebastiano Carli, my colleague, is here, and he's one of managing this network together with me, and so he can also be available anytime if you're interested in joining as an institution OPERAS. Then it's for free, but there is an application process, and then you commit to participating in one of the special interest groups, and the OA Books is one of them. There are other very exciting groups like multilingualism and AI, for example, as well. So within the OA Books special interest group, we have 3 working groups where we are actually doing the work. So we have the OA Books Network, we have a working group on open infrastructures, and one on business models. And then I mentioned the OA Books Network, which was set up also coordinated by OAPEN together with Spark Europe and Open Book Publishers. It's a fantastic network where there are lots of events and discussions and activity, and you can join any event as you like. You don't have to sign up for anything else than just the event. So I invite you to do that too. And now, finally, if you are still there, this is the question that I'm getting asked all the time, and coming back from the Frankfurt Book Fair last week, this was the question that came up all the time, and I guess you can guess that the question is what to do about AI. And so it's I would say a very big challenge these days. It's also providing opportunities, but I think right now, from a platform point of view, it's indeed a very big challenge. Just to give you an idea, so next month, actually almost just a week and a half, I'm going to be presenting on a panel at the Charleston Library Conference in Charleston. This fantastic title, "The Bot War: Will Evil AI Scraping Bots Succeed in Destroying Our Open Digital Libraries?" And it may sound exaggerated, but I guess if you're in a library, you may have experienced that you are being visited quite aggressively by bots, and it's often quite difficult to identify the bots. So we see definitely the OAPEN library and DOAB being, I would say, under attack, basically. So we get so many requests per second, some for periods of time, that the systems just break down. And with CERN, we have, fantastic collaboration. They have set up all sorts of rules. They're trying to do all they can mitigate in different ways. There's Cloudflare, there are many different solutions, but it's really, really difficult. And we're already spending a lot of time. And I think there's on the one side the big commercial tech companies who have commercial interests in scraping for their training their LLMs, but also and you may have seen blog posts about this. There are lots of opportunities for anyone basically to easily prompt a chatbot to program another small LLM and just send it into the world without knowing really the consequences of that. So in our understanding, that's a very stupid misuse of AI, and it causes a lot of problems, a lot of hours spent on basically trying to manage a chaotic situation that is only getting worse. So this is something that is really challenging, and something where we need to really start talking about the future of our platforms, how we manage a world of open source content in a situation where AI is playing such a role. So I don't have the solutions. Sometimes I get very enthusiastic. Sometimes I get super depressed about this. But at least there is a lot to be thought about here. Also, another thing, of course, is that we see hybrid war going on, political tensions and a lot of disinformation. So this is also where we have AI as an issue, but it's also wider. It's more like, geopolitical. And I was invited to speak at this UN Science Summit recently to talk about how we deal with that. And one strategy for us is to really focus on trust building. And here at the Open Science Fair last month in Geneva, I was indeed talking about, for example, the Trusted Platform Network and how we try to really keep focusing on the core values of what we do as, curating, focusing on quality and still be open. But it's a big challenge. So I think the future is very challenging, and we try our best. But I think we need, as communities serving scholarly communication, and this is really where I come from. It's about working with authors. That's how I began my career. Listening to what they do, really trying to understand how we can help them in bringing their years of research into the world in a structured way, and in our case, in the form of books. And books carry a lot of trust, and we should really safeguard and protect that trust as best as we can. So that will remain the challenge, and that's why I keep doing what I do. So with that, thank you very much for your attention, and anytime I can be helpful, or my colleague Sebastiano, then please do reach out to us.